Hi everybody, welcome to What the Flick. Tim Frisch, Alonso Duralde. This is Fear the Walking Dead recap, season 3, episode 14, El Matadero. What I consider to be the episode after the logical season finale.
Kinda, yeah. It does seem like they are branching out a lot for what's the last 3 episodes of the season. We're getting a twofer next week. So Alicia's on her own. We've lost Ophelia. That's the big thing. You were saying before, kind of in the most
the most cliche is like Daniel arrives just in time to hear her final words, right, and then she drifts off. But in a little twist of the dagger, he doesn't make it in time. He just finds a corpse. Even essentially worse. What he thought was the case all along.
Right. It was like, no, it's fresh. We swear. If you'd been here 10 minutes ago, you'd have missed it. But no, that sucks. She was a lovely character, and yeah. So of the sort of original core batch, we've lost 2 of them. So we're down to Strand, the Clarks, and Ruben Blades. I'm so bad with characters on this show. Anyway, Ophelia's dad, he's still around.
Yeah. Daniel Salazar.
Thank you. Very good. Yeah. I think I was wondering if this show was ever going to take us to a place where Nick was going to have a relapse.
Yeah, return to form for Nick. It seems like I had almost forgotten the key tenets of Nick's character at this point. For the entire season 1, he was a junkie, and for the entirety of season 2, he was a loner that felt more at home walking amongst the dead than he did the living.
Right.
And now he revisits both of those principles in this episode for the first time in a long time.
True. Yeah. When he smeared the blood, I was like, oh yeah, it seems like old times, you know. But again, he's obviously feeling very alienated from what's going on. You know, his sister is taken off at the end of the episode. Clearly, you know, he doesn't care that Madison is still reeling from the fact that Alicia isn't going with them, and now he's not going to go with them as well. So that's just like a double kind of dagger to her. But you know, he's going to stay where the drugs, or in this case, the spinal, whatever.
The adrenal gland?
The adrenal glands are.
So that's a speculative drug, and it's not like really real.
I hope. I don't want to know.
In Fear and Loathing, they do a single drop of adrenochrome. It's like, this will fuck you up so bad. And here they're just like, I'm gonna eat the whole adrenal gland, it's fine.
Yeah.
And it's free.
Yeah, well, the first one always is. Famously, which even Nick knows. He's like, nothing is for free, come on.
But I'll take it.
Yeah, exactly, it doesn't stop him from woofing it down. And you know, up until this point, Troy had been kind of a straight edge. So, you know, he bypasses alcohol and goes straight to adrenal gland. So,
well, peer pressure is a powerful thing.
It is, I suppose, yes.
And man, I've never been more easily able to ship those two than again in this episode.
Yeah, well, they're
they have a relationship.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's because you love me. I'm like, maybe.
Long bloody hug out in the danger. Wild.
That is some deep broness going on with those two.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know who the more destructive person is. I don't know who should be the anchor in this relationship.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know that anybody gets to be the stable one necessarily, but they do belong together. I think they, you know, in the worst way possible, in a Sid and Nancy kind of like let's drag each other to hell sort of way. But yeah, they I think feed into each other's worst instincts, and they do, as is pointed out, have a lot in common. So, you know.
I also think this episode seems to be hinting at a return to form for Strand as well. He is up to something.
Well, he is very pragmatic as always, and yeah, he's clearly now not. He thinks that Madison's gone soft, and is clearly sort of like trying to make some deal behind her back.
Like you would think that at this point, his loyalty to Madison would be pretty much rock solid.
Well,
I mean, she saved his life not 3 episodes ago.
Well, exactly. I know when he talks about you're squandering our resources, like, yeah, one of those times was to save your ass.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think ultimately, you know, and we even saw this with his sort of like primary relationship at some point, that like Strand is always for Strand first. And there are other people along the way who may get close and who he may feel close to. But if he starts feeling like there is some sacrifice being made, or that he's not going to get out of something, then he's going to look after his own interests.
Yeah, and he's got a real ability to convince you that he's not just after himself.
Of course, yes, he's a charmer that way. Alicia, meanwhile, seems to have found a cohort. They don't want to be friends.
Seeking a friend for the end of the world.
Exactly. Yes. I like the use of the ball pit. That was a bit.
Okay.
That was a very cool sequence.
So this show has some cool sequences.
Yes.
It does some really interesting things that are visually compelling. Like,
so Walking Dead has not had a ball pit. This is new.
No, they've never had a ball pit before.
Well played, Fear.
Untrod territory.
Yeah.
But like even the little things, like the scene where Nick is about to slip and he walks into the room that Ophelia's in. He does this sort of like head back, mouth, yawn thing that makes him look Walker-esque. It sort of reminded me of the like waving back and forth, oxygen deprived people from the previous episode too. So like the show is like gently reminding you that even though they're not dead, it's still a part of them. It's like a part of this world.
Well, yeah, and the walkers still have a certain level of humanity, you know, and it's a humanity of the heavily sedated or the heavily medicated or the not entirely there. But you know, it is obviously clearly, I guess, drawing those lines. I loved his description of look between the atoms.
Right.
Look for the space between the atoms. I was like, that's a really good description of what that is. That dead 1,000-yard stare. That was poetic.
I like the camera work on their little trip too. It felt disorienting
and that's the kind of thing that can be so hokey so easily.
Yeah.
You know, like go back and watch like the acid trip in Skidoo or something. It's like, oh come on. But yeah, this had that sort of like
I'm not in control, but if I open my eyes real wide, like I can focus for a second and be sober enough to like figure out what we're doing.
I have a sense of what's going on around me, but it's lost in all these other things. Yeah.
Again, not what I would think would be quite right for an entire adrenal gland, but I mean, maybe if you got your uppers and downers balanced.
I was gonna say he'd already been hitting whatever it was that Ophelia was taking, like Dilaudid or whatever, you know. So yeah, he's speedballing it at this point. So yeah, when he goes to just straight adrenal gland later, that's going to be a whole other thing, I imagine. Although actually, if Troy hadn't had anything before that, he would be having a different experience than Nick because he wasn't drinking and he wasn't taking the downers.
You'd think, but who knows? He's got a different tolerance. He's not a
exactly. Yeah, he's a lightweight clearly, so you know, heaven knows. But yeah, so going back to Alicia, she does encounter this co-survivor, and they have an interestingly prickly conversation going on. Edwina Findlay, who was in Get Out.
Oh.
Yeah, so I think I imagine she'll be around for at least the next 2 episodes, and you know whether or not she's turns up for season 4, I don't know. But
we didn't get a character name out of her, right?
I don't know that we did. In fact, I looked on IMDb and they didn't list one, which is not to say that's a final thing, but I don't recall a name being offered, which fits in the whole like we ain't friends.
Yeah.
You know, we're not getting to know you now. But you know, I think the you know, people, one of the complaints about this show is like, and I've complained about the show, the sort of inorganic ways that they separate people. I think that we have a fairly legit reason of why Alicia feels like she needs to strike out on her own, and now obviously why a sort of relapsed, fucked up Nick also doesn't want to tag along for this damn excursion.
He wants to stay where the party is.
Exactly, yeah, no, because water, that's great, but I'd rather be here with the tequila if you don't mind. Yeah, so you know, I think it'll be curious to see where they take us in 2 episodes, after which they have to then stop, you know, for the season. So I don't know, but I at least buy that the 3 Clarks are off on their own tangent at the moment.
Well, I fully believe that 2 episodes is enough for Madison to destroy the entire community around the dam.
Oh yeah, no, she has a gift for that sort of thing. Yeah. So yeah, the whole thing will just come. It'll be like the end of Mad Max Fury Road. Yeah. The water's going to come gushing out, and then that was all she wrote. So. All right, well, we'll find out for the 2-hour season finale next week, and we'll be back to talk about it, so hope y'all will too. Bye.